Hello, Goddess, and welcome to Thankful to Thrive Thursday. Hi. I know it just feels like it's been a minute since I have created any other video content aside from these empowerment messages and, of course, the Masculine Monday divine messages that come through. I have kind of been led to just take a breath for the Feminine Friday. I myself, as I've mentioned this week, have been going and growing through some pretty intense periods of growth and healing myself, and that is very much the collective. I can feel it so deeply in my divine masculine. For those who may be new to my channel, my name is Rochelle, and I am the one divinely led to create empowerment experiences, and just as equally divinely led into the Healing Twin Flames movement that it is very much becoming. And Healing Twin Flames is fully rooted in a self-love empowerment journey. And empowerment experiences is fully focused on empowering you through your self-love empowerment journey. We are in some very, very challenging times. They can, for me, feel quite comparable to the trauma, the traumatic experiences that I myself endured in my life, and because what's happening now is triggering the trauma from the unhealed trauma from those days. And that is exactly what is happening, as I mentioned in Twin Flame Tuesday this week, which apologies for not getting that published at the time I usually intend. It was interesting, I got all my other social media stuff published, but the video itself, like the most important component. However, that's where we are, is really learning to have grace, grace with ourselves, really learning compassion and grace for others, those who are variously very much not in that thriving space, unaware of what is really happening in this world, the much bigger picture. And I just caught 111 on my timer, which I have to remind myself like 2 minutes later. I just had caught it a moment ago and started it. So 111, there we go. Thoughts become things. And I have watched this happen, being someone who didn't really participate in the mainstream narrative, like ever. I lived in the underbelly of the matrix. Remember, former pimped out, drug addicted prostitute. I did not work a real job. I did not, I didn't have a W-4s and all of these things that I did not live a normal life. And I very much know that it's because I went through training for this very time. And that is why I say to all of you, it's right now is going to trigger very much the deeper seated beliefs that you hold that are contradictory to the new earth rising, that are out of alignment with your joy, because that is the new earth. It is that joy is an even higher vibration than love. And we really dive into studying the emotional frequency scale. It's the Hawkins emotional frequency scale. We really dive into that in my mentorship group. We spend time focusing on that and what different things are that you can do to, shift into these higher vibrational states of being, because that's how it works. You are the catalyst, Goddess. This is the whole 111, thoughts become things. And especially our subconscious thoughts that are happening constantly throughout the day. Each and every one of us are the catalyst, and we are being challenged right now to really see some of these subconscious patternings that have been so detrimental, so devastating to not just each our own selves, but the collective on a bigger scale. You know, anytime that you are feeding the story that you're unworthy, you're not good enough, you're ugly, money is the root of all evil, men are the root of all problems, menopause, mental breakdown, those kinds of jokes, anything like that, that is out of alignment with that unconditional source love, even fear. Right now, people are purporting that fear equates to love, that I am afraid for your health because I love you. Fear is an absence of love. You cannot come from a place of fear but say that it's love, because it's not. And again, this comes back to that Hawkins emotional frequency scale. Everything is energy. Everything has a vibration. Just like, again, when your thoughts are becoming things, it's because if you're thinking about if you're thinking about things that put you in a lower vibrational state of being, you are going to attract into your experience lower vibrational experiences that are in alignment with that signature frequency that you're putting out there. This is why, again, it's so important to really take that step back and check in with how you feel. Because when you get to the underlying truth of something, like, again, you cannot come from fear and love simultaneously. Fear is a 100 frequency. Love is a 500 frequency. They are not the same. They're not on the same plateau. They're not in alignment with each other. Fear is an absence of love. There is no love, which is up here. There's no love in fear, which is down here. But fear sure is down there, along with guilt and shame and blame and anger, unworthiness. Challenging times, sister, and I'm here to reassure you that we shall get through this. You have trained for this for lifetimes, even though some days it doesn't feel like it, because you are processing through so much shit, especially from this lifetime. And it's so challenging when you can see a bigger, broader picture and you can feel the lower frequencies of something, yet others make you the bad guy. But that's the thing, is no matter what, somebody is going to make you the bad guy. And that comes from a place of projection. They don't want to actually look at themselves and the role that they are playing in their experience. This again comes back to this 111, thoughts become things. Whatever you emit is exactly what you get. We are the creators / co-creators of our experience. And whatever story we tell is the reality that we live. It's so interesting that apparently, and I wasn't tuned into the matrix in that regard. Like I said, I had my own path. But apparently for 4 years, everybody was being given the storyline that we were living under a dictator, a fascist, and I didn't notice because we weren't. We weren't. And yet after 4 years of everybody being propagandized, brainwashed to believe that we were, to tell that story, to tell that narrative, here we are, back in wars, everything is falling apart. It's insane that to be on the outside looking in and to be able to go, oh, you don't see that, but that's just it. Is being able to go, okay, my power is not in waking others up. My power is in leading by example. My power is in pivoting my thoughts. My power is in being aware that I've been programmed to tell stories about myself, about the world as a whole, that are not in alignment with love. They are not in alignment with my truth. They are not in alignment with empowerment, and recognizing that then therein you are being shifted into that massive state of awareness that then allows you to reclaim the bulk of your power in that moment, because you cannot change that which you are unaware. And once you become aware of something, then you will always notice it. You are then aware of it. and it no longer holds complete power over you. Rather, you are now taking power back from it, whatever it may be. So you begin telling the story of how you'd like it to be. This is what we're here for. We are here to be telling the story of how we want it to be, to stop feeding any part of the human experience that is low vibrational. Stop talking about it. And this is the other reason why I haven't said a lot in my goddess tribe about what is actually happening in this earth experience, the true journey of ascension, the 3 to 5D, what it actually is. We literally are in the middle of a spiritual war. And that's why we light warriors are here, is to show others what it looks like to reclaim that power and break free from the matrix. All the division, all the manipulation, all the lies. And this also applies to that twin flame connection. In what ways are you deceiving yourself about yourself? What stories are you telling yourself, such as we'll never be together, it's never going to work out, I have no power here, any story that contradicts what you desire to be experiencing. Stop watering the weeds and start nurturing the seeds. Start cultivating the garden in the way that you'd like it to be. Because right now, if you have thoughts that again are so contradictory to what you desire, and stories that you're telling that are in complete contradiction to what you desire, then you are watering weeds. And so you're going to get more weeds, rather than going, you know what, it's time to pull those weeds. It's time to really plant seeds and nurture them and cultivate them, a true garden of empowerment, of strength, of understanding. Apparently, we needed this for this Thankful to Thrive Thursday, so that you can really be able to begin to detach yourself. All right, to begin to choose that disengagement and say, ooh, because I know it's challenging. Especially when you are truly on the awakening journey. You're not broke woke, because, oh yeah, the mainstream is broke woke. Cancel culture, all of that, meaning it is an illusion. It's a facade. They're not really awake. They're just being manipulated by the matrix. And like I said, as someone who has been an outsider of the matrix, I'm on the outside looking in. And so I've been able to see this, and this has been my challenge. I don't plug in. Okay? So I'm really, really intrigued to see what the cards have to reveal for us today for this Thankful to Thrive Thursday, because again, things are ramping up. We've all been, processing through some very, very heavy shit, really having to confront that Goliath that is rearing its ugly head within ourselves. All the deeper, darker wounds that you really haven't wanted to confront or to allow yourself to see within you, and you have been repressing or suppressing them, you're being asked to express them. It's time to let it out, to release that heaviness, so you can be rising out of those lower vibrational states of being, so that your baseline frequency is a higher frequency. Because for millennia, the baseline human frequency has been down here in like 50 or 75, with guilt and shame and blame and unworthiness, all down here. This is the third dimension. So we're here to uplift humanity, and we can only do that by being an energetic influencer to the system, right? To not feed the matrix with your fear, but to pull back that energy, call back your power, and anchor into yourself in love, and amplify that love, and stand in love, and hold space in love. Do not engage with the lower frequencies. That is definitely something that opens yourself up to them coming into your experience. This is again where we are. We are in such an intense time of discernment, whether to engage or disengage. I can see it not just in the Twin Flame Collective, but literally in the collective as a whole. Because again, what you give your attention to is the very thing that receives your energy, and where your attention goes, your energy flows, which therefore is the very thing that is expanding that and calling that even more into your experience. Okay, so wow, and I just saw 1333, so we got 333, 111, and 333 going on for our angel numbers today. Let's see what messages we have right now as we're all feeling our way through this time and really doing this work to release these heavier energies within ourselves. And one of the biggest things right now is to be envisioning that new reality. Again, thoughts become things. All right, and what you focus on is what expands. What you're looking at, it's like I've referenced before, when you're in sports, wherever you focus on, especially basketball, because basketball is the main one that I grew up playing, is if you are looking at where you want that ball to hit on that backboard or straight swoosh it, you have to know where to look so your body follows your line of sight. And the same thing that was just hitting me is if you're driving down the road and you see an accident and you're cruising along, but you're looking at the accident, what usually happens? You end up starting to veer in the direction that you're looking. So this is exactly where your power is right now, is to be imagining the reality that you desire to be experiencing. And even if that is in increments, bit by bit by bit, what is someplace you want to go in a single experience you'd like to have? You don't need to describe the entire vision. You don't need, you can't. But what bullet points do you got that you can share with the universe? What bullet points in your vision can you, in fact, before my twin flame came into my life, I had created a bullet point vision board, not 3 weeks before him. And nowhere on that list was there a romantic hookup. No, I wanted just me, myself, and I in a house full of cats. And here he came out of the middle of nowhere. Poof. By the way. However, bullet points. And then the universe is going to fill in the gaps. Right? And I wish I had a picture of that little bullet point vision board. I think I had thrown it away way back then, because boom, next thing I know, I'm going to India. And I really, truly immersed myself in the visualization of experiencing that reality. It was my song, it's a Bollywood song. I had my song that I would play on repeat. I was doing the 555 technique. I was constantly visualizing. I was eating Indian food. I was hearing horns honking, whatever I could experience with any and all of my senses. I was immersing myself in, so that I was then aligning myself with that timeline. I was aligning with myself with that manifested reality that I desired to experience. Because again, it is about this. If you are vibrating at a fear frequency, then you're going to attract more things that instigate and amplify your fear. However, if you are vibrating at a love frequency, you are going to be aligned with and thus attract more love frequency experiences. That's just how it is right now. And one of the most manipulative of these states of being is fear. You keep someone in fear, you can coerce them to do anything. But see, fear itself is an illusion. Fear is ego-based, period. Period. There's nothing spiritual about fear, nothing. And there is no love in fear either. This is why when I hear God-fearing, I'm like, replace the word God with love and tell me how that works. Because you want to tell me, religions want to tell us that God is love, but yet certain religions say, ooh, but you gotta be God-fearing. Okay, so you mean love-fearing? You want to be with a man who fears love? Words have power. And so it's really easy for, especially someone like me, to see how religion has been utilized to program people into states of fear. Because God cannot be both fear and love. You cannot both fear God and love God, because they're two different frequencies. So it's pretty mind-boggling when you look at it, and it really does blow out some edges for religious-based individuals. And to each their own. If it works for you to believe in fear, if fear tactics work for you, by all means go for it. But I choose love. I choose love. All right? And I choose the love of the vessel that God created. Thank you very much. It was interesting that the contradiction is just so mind-boggling. A woman yesterday morning at the grocery store that I met, she says to me with a mask on her face, she says, oh, well, I trust my Heavenly Father, everything's in His hands. But I wanted to say to her, really? As you have a mask covering the vessel that God created? I mean, I'm kind of, again, make it make sense. Because it doesn't. None of it makes sense. So that's really all I wanted to touch on that just for a bit, in terms of, again, really allowing yourself to take that step back and view it as an observer, as a sovereign being, one born with the innate right to free will. You're here to create from joy, with love, the kind of reality that you desire to be experiencing. This is what 5D New Earth is, this new reality. However, there's going to be a lot of things that have to crumble. The old Earth is falling away. Systems are falling apart because they were never meant to be sustainable, and they're not. The third dimension is falling away, and that third dimension will take with it anybody who's fully rooted in fear. Because fear is not love. And as twin flames, it's very, very challenging to anchor into love when some days you just feel within you that your counterpart is so not making it easy. But that's not their job. It's your job to make it easy on yourself, which means back to the 111, pivot, focus your attention on what you desire to be creating, because that is where your energy is going. Thus, that is what you are cultivating. That is what you're creating. If you continue to feed the things in your experience, or even think about, tell about any aspect of your experience that you don't want to continue experiencing, then you're going to continue to experience it. So stop talking about it. Zip it. Zip it. It's that old adage, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Seriously, don't. Just don't. Stop feeding it. Cut off the power and pull that power back into yourself. So imagine the reality that you desire to be experiencing. And right now, I know there is a lot of anger. There is such a magnitude in the collective. Some of the things that I see people saying to each other, that it's just, the hypocrisy is astonishing to me. It's astonishing. And so even I admit, I'm owning my shit. Of course I am. That there's been so much anger that I've been purging because of these deeper rooted traumas that are being triggered now with what's going on now, that it doesn't make sense to me. That if this were happening 10 years ago even, I really feel quite confident that things wouldn't be unfolding the way they are. So it's it's okay to be angry. This is the human experience. And therefore, you are here to experience what it is to be human. And it's the gamut of emotions. Even when you're at a higher vibration, who's not going to say that you're not going to be triggered further down the line that's going to anger you? Doesn't mean you are immune from all the other human emotions. Stop using that spiritual bullshit to say, oh my God, I can only be high vibe. I can't be angry. I can't feel guilt. I can't feel blame or shame or any of this because otherwise I'm not spiritual. No. You are a soul being having a human experience, which means you are going to experience what it is to be human. And being angry is part of it. The key is, though, to learn to funnel this anger in a healthy way. I was just talking with a soul sister today who, a family, an in-law is trying to instigate drama in the family and is sending these messages to certain members in her family. And boy, she was ready to bite this chick's head off. And then she talked to me about it, and the consensus between us was that don't give her your energy. Do not respond at all. And even she was recognizing that she knew that she's like, I have some anger that I could definitely just spew into her about the other things in my life that I'm angry about. However, I didn't let myself, because what would it do? It would continue to fuel that fire. Instead, do not blow oxygen into the flames. Don't fan the fire. Let that fire die out. So stop feeding it. And that's exactly what it was. Don't engage. Stop engaging with the lower vibrational states of being when they come from something outside of you. If you're watching or listening, first advice, turn off the TV. Turn it off. Do not watch the news. I'm here to tell you that it is very infused with fear energy, because I haven't watched the news in more than 13, 14 years. And do I feel the fear? And I watch the circus that it is going, people actually believe this? What? That's just it. You don't know you're brainwashed when you're brainwashed. Just like we don't realize the programming that is in our minds that is contradicting our desires until we get clear on what our desires really are, and then shit starts to come up and we're like, oh geez. And this is again what it is about envisioning a new reality, because like I said, once you envision that new reality, all the beliefs that you have that are blocks, are potholes on this path to this new reality are going to make themselves known. You don't have to go searching for trouble. Trouble's going to find you because you want to take a different route. And your ego, rooted in fear, focused on, oh my God, is it safe or unsafe? When for the majority, the ego defines safe as familiar. It doesn't actually mean it's safe. This is why cognitive dissonance is so intense, because anything that comes into a person's realm of experience that contradicts a long-standing, firmly held belief, whether it is supportive or detrimental, they will dismiss it. And I have learned very much in my life with what my journey has been that, I dismiss nothing. As I've mentioned before, with everything going on and so much information, well, for the most part, at our fingertips, thankful for censorship-free platforms, so much information at our fingertips that I've even heard people, I came across flat earth people, and I'm like, oh geez. At first, and I saw that in myself, I'm like, oh geez. But then I'm reminding myself that, wait a minute, the things we think we know about this world and human history, we were told it's what they are. But have you been to the moon? Have you seen these things? So how can we, one, take it as truth, but two, even dismiss it outright? The key to truly expanding your consciousness is to be willing to ask questions and dismiss nothing. Nothing. Dismiss nothing. Take things with a grain of salt and dismiss nothing. Until you know for sure that, oh no, I went to put that square peg in that round hole and it did not fit. I tried it myself, it did not fit. There you go. But again, coming back to this whole mind programming thing, the key is you have been programmed. You didn't realize you were being programmed until you actually were kind of poked and that light switch went off in you and said, it's time to wake up, truly, on this journey of awakening, because you're never fully woke. Woke is broke, but you are perpetually awakening. This is why, again, you dismiss nothing. You are perpetually expanding your consciousness, so you dismiss nothing. And you allow for yourself to receive whatever information appears when it appears, and to process it through based on where your power is in it versus where it isn't. When you can realize on this journey of awakening that you have been programmed to think and believe and act a certain way based on social conditioning, indoctrination at school, all these things, then you then can realize that you can reprogram yourself. This is what the healing journey is all about. You're healing all of those wounds that told you you were less than, all this programming. It's time to envision that new reality, to purge through this anger, release it, and recognize that in the realm of possibility, all things are possible. This is why, again, why I'm saying dismiss nothing. And when your mind wants to say, well, how is that going to happen? Well, that can't happen. Like the biggest example I'm using right now is that technically I am not able to just hop on a plane and go see my divine counterpart. That I actually, that my visitor visa is suspended and stuff. So my ego is really, my victimized ego has really been fucking with me. And say, see, you can't be, do, and have anything. Look, the Matrix won't even let you go see your twin flame. However, my soul self recognizes that this is not that time to be gallivanting like that. This is a time to be focusing on the mission, to be focusing on my healing, you focusing on your healing, because I assure you, Goddess, in whatever way he's doing it, your divine counterpart is focused on his or her healing. It's time to be empowering yourself and allowing yourself to reprogram, rewrite your stories, rewrite the belief systems that you were taught that are out of alignment with the reality you desire to be experiencing. And I assure you that you are the catalyst to aligning with that abundance, to aligning with this gloriously expansive realm known as the fifth dimension and beyond, and beyond. It's the 3D that's filled with so many limitations. And we're really being shown that. How not so free we've actually been, how it's been an illusion. And that's the thing here, is that this reality is an illusion. It's a simulation for our souls. Partnership card. I'm intrigued. I'm curious to know. Let's actually, let's ask what exactly is the message for this regarding this partnership. And in fact, in this moment, what's actually hitting for me is that you and your divine counterpart are in a partnership. Twin flame connection is mission-based first, and that mission is to anchor the light and amplify that love. And that means you yourself have to become a beacon for love. So here we have prosperity. There's that abundance, the prosperity card. And really recognizing that you've got to embody this energy. And the key is this realm is actually very abundant. There's more than enough for everybody. And when you can embody this abundance energy, well, prosperity really truly does abound. Harnessing that energy. Again, that 111, coming back to recognizing thoughts become things, because thoughts connect with your energy. Oh, sorry, I'm hitting my little microphone here. Thoughts translate into energy, into frequency. So if you are thinking lower vibrational thoughts, guilt that are instigating guilt and shame and blame and unworthiness, then that is again that frequency. That's the energy that you are putting out, and in turn, the energy that you are attracting. And as for this partnership card, as I mentioned, it's also recognizing that you and your counterpart are both on this journey together. You're never separate. You can sense them. Oh, I just noticed this is number 17 on here. Card number 17, Fire Spirit. And how perfectly aligned that I mentioned the fanning the flames, right? Stop fanning the flames of the things that are out of alignment. If you really want to be in alignment with your twin flame union, that again means you've got to embody this abundance energy. You've got to recognize the blessings that abound in your experience, because that is that higher vibration. Remember, love is a higher frequency. If you are coming from a place of fear, you are going to perpetuate experiences of fear. If you're coming from a place of love, you're going to perpetuate experiences of love. And this means that you also be in alignment with that physical harmonious union with your twin flame, which you've got to be the one to embody that energetic state of being. And obviously a twin flame connection is very much a partnership. Very much a partnership. It is this beautiful dance, this energy that's in balance, because that energy is in balance within yourself, and therefore you bring that balance to the connection. Ooh, change is definitely on the horizon. Change is actually happening right now in a massive way. Change in your connection, change in yourself, change in the collective. We are in the midst of the most dramatic global change, individually and collectively, in any written human history, it seems. We have the hieroglyphs that talk of all these things past, but we've not really been taught about. So much has been kept secret. Well, all of that is part of this change. The truth of humanity is being brought to light. It is a time of dark to light, and this is why it feels so excruciating right now. This is why it feels so heavy right now, is because again, these things that were once hidden away, hidden within ourselves, hidden within the collective, are now being forced into the light. They can no longer hide in the dark. And this includes your shadows too, Goddess. This includes the aspects of yourself that you thought you could hide from, that you thought you could deceive yourself about, but you can't. And this is going to trigger this anger. It's going to anger you that you are seeing that I actually had a role in that. I could have done differently there. I could have done differently there. And then it's going to perpetuate this. It could, if you allow it. This is again that 111, practicing the pivot. And I just caught 717 on here, which is because I use my little stop clock here. And it was 717 right there, just when I caught that. And I normally don't notice that lower number because it's my second video. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. That's so crazy exciting. So we have 111, 333, and 717 for today's, because I mentioned the 17 number as well. But right now, there is so much change taking place. And true change begins when we choose to truly change. And by you shifting the things within yourself that are out of alignment with this 5D New Earth energy, that are out of alignment with your physical harmonious union with your divine counterpart, these things that are out of alignment with what you desire to manifest, they're all being amplified because it's time for a change. It's time to stop feeding the no's. It's time to stop giving energy to what is not serving you, to actually what is detrimental to you. To get off the subject, as Abraham likes to say. Oof, strength, right? This is a time that is strengthening you, I assure you. And you are so much stronger than what you might think you are. Take pause for a moment, Goddess, and look, actually allow yourself to see everything that you have not just endured, but overcame. I mean, this is Thankful to Thrive Thursday. It's about really recognizing that you are in a space of thriving. I mean, we really, especially in America, because it's disappearing fast, we have been so privileged to grow up in freedom. So privileged. And we are here to ensure that all of humanity knows this freedom. But that's why so much of it is temporarily being limited. So much is being denied. So that those who do not believe that freedom is being stripped from us can actually finally see. Because words do not teach. Only life experience gives understanding. Only someone who paid no attention to history would actually believe that what is happening right now is definitely a play for those who have been the overlords of this realm to usher humanity into a time of complete and total one world government, tyrannical existence. It's really mind-boggling. It's like all the pieces are there. They're all there. But that's why I say, if you just dismiss something because it's not on mainstream, then you're totally gonna miss it. Totally gonna miss it. And that's the challenge right now. That's the challenge for those of us who see the bigger picture. Woo! Wow. The crumbling. This is exactly, as I've said, what is happening with this old world, the old system. The matrix is glitching, as we say. The Mandela effect is really mind-boggling. We've been watching certain things where, you know, one example is we all were taught that the Statue of Liberty was on Ellis Island. Well, we have shifted timelines. The Statue of Liberty is now on Liberty Island. And I'm like, what? We knew it. We were taught history. What? So it's very interesting. And then things like images that we knew were on certain box games growing up. We're finding old pictures of it and they're not showing those things. And we're all going, but wait a minute. That was like the Monopoly guy had that little, I forget what they're called, but the eye spectacle, the one, and apparently on photos showing the old Monopoly boxes, he doesn't have I forget what it's called, but the little single eyeglass. He doesn't have it. And we're all just baffled. But that's what happens. The Mandela effect is when we shift timelines and everything that happened in the past gets changed into the timeline we're in now. And so things that we grew up seeing one way are no longer that way because we've shifted timelines, so things change. Again, I come back to this whole space that if you believe in the twin flame connection, you believe in that higher dimensional energetic soul perspective, then how could you actually dismiss basically anything else? Because in the realm of possibility, all things are possible. Just as it's highly possible and very probable, as we look around, that the old systems are crumbling. And the same with you. Your old versions of self are falling away. You've got to let them. If you grew up in lack, you grew up in not having a lot of money, you've got to look at those beliefs that you have, the programming that you have about money, about yourself having money, about money in the bank or whatever it is. You've got to look at that and change that programming, meaning reprogram yourself, deprogram the bullshit and reprogram the good shit, okay? And let go of the bullshit. Let what needs to fall away, fall away. Because you are busy over here focusing on what you're creating. Stop watering the weeds. And that's exactly what this card is about. Watering the weeds. Stop contributing to the mainstream narrative and start really being that beacon. Because I assure you, anything in the mainstream is the matrix. It's sheer manipulation. I have watched the censorship happen. I have watched this again because I didn't play politics. I didn't get involved in any of this. So I've had this, I'm so grateful I have had this wonderful perspective of being able to be an outsider looking in going, you don't see the dots? You don't see all of this connecting here? Okay, got it. So it's really mind-boggling to me to see that. So I would pull numbers, however, let's actually look up the numbers that have made themselves known today, which is 111. Let's get this out here, 111, which is one of my favorites, of course. And as I like to say, as I'm bringing this up, I always love to hear how any of these messages, any revelation moments, if there's any questions that you actually have that you would like me to create a video on, let me know. You want more details? I am actually looking at possibly hosting just a free mini get together or a mastermind, we could say, where we actually discuss what is happening on this ascension journey, this 3 to 5D, where you're outside of the matrix. All right, it's time to be, Neo and Trinity and Morpheus. It's time to recognize that you are not the system. You are here to break free from the system. Okay, so 111 is telling us this. Oh, being awareness of thoughts, like I say, that you cannot change that which you are unaware. Thoughts become things. Twin flame awakening. So again, as you and your counterpart are going through these deeper layers of healing that are excruciating, and I know, Goddess, they make you want to grasp for him, and he feels like he is just so far away, and you question yourself, is he ever come? I don't feel him, and it's because you are in these lower vibrations, which are not love. If you are in fear, you are not coming from love. I cannot reiterate that enough. Increasing powers of rapid manifestation, confidence, awareness, uniqueness, one of a kind. Manifestations are getting close. Align with your vision, transform into the true you. It's time for you to come home to union within. Again, this is about you calling that power back. No longer allowing yourself to be a to be a victim of the tick, a succubus that is the matrix. The matrix is fueled by your fear, by any of these lower vibrations, that is what feeds the matrix. Stop letting it manipulate you through fear and come back into yourself and anchor into that love. And then we had 333 that came, and we have Lightworker message, time to shine, right? Live your truths. Ooh, faith in humanity and the world. And then we have clarify your desires, which that is this envisioning a new reality. Really allow yourself where you can to get crystal clear on your reality. If there is some aspect of what you desire to be creating or experiencing in this new earth realm, go there in your mind, go there in your energetic being, go there and be in that feel-good visualizing space as long as you can be there, because that is raising your vibration. That is aligning you with what you desire to be experiencing. Again, here we have spiritual awakening. So right now we have the twin flame awakening, we have spiritual awakening. Right now, there is such a, again, it's not called the Great Awakening for nothing. This is the greatest time in human history where souls in massive numbers are awakening and unplugging from the matrix. But here's the other side of this, is that the dark, the evil energies, psychic attacks, there's been so much of that. You're going to be attacked. You're going to be challenged, because the evil that is that aspect of the darkness, because remember, I've clarified before, darkness itself is not evil. There is evil in the darkness. That is where the evil hides, is in the darkness. So it's awakening to recognize that you get to choose. You are a sovereign being. No one can force you to do anything that is against your will. Nobody. Because that goes against God. It goes against your innate birthright as a sovereign being. You are the one that has power over you. And nobody else has power over you unless you give it to them. And this is for me, again, that one of the triggers that's happening for myself is watching so many people willingly give away their power and be told what to do, when I'm like, you don't see the poison in your food? You don't know. In fact, the water, the tap water, is so poisonous that it's taken me a couple months to really figure out, because it's been accumulating in my soil, my potting soil for my plants, to figure out that the fluoride in the city water here is killing my plants. So you're gonna trust a system that poisons your food, poisons your water, poisons your air? It really? Okay. Whatever floats your boat. But you know, me personally, I trust source. I trust my direct connection with the universe. That's who I trust to properly guide me along my journey. So, and I mentioned 717, which is the twin flame union number. You already know, trust yourself. Boom, as I was just now saying, trust yourself. Strong union for twin flames. Be aware of the words you speak and how you are being. You create your reality. The story you are telling is the reality you are living. It's so mind-boggling. So again, stop telling the story that you don't want to be living. Okay? And then, sure, let's check 17, just number 17, since I had that out. Be in gratitude. What was I talking about? Twin flame mission. Focusing on your mission. It's a number for happiness. Closing timelines of hardships and frustrations. This is what it is. Purging out this anger, letting it go. You're closing those timelines. Look, align yourself with your inner knowing, wisdom, and intuition. Align yourself with the reality you desire to be experiencing. And advancements in your relationship are coming. So we had four numbers for today. That was 111, 333, 717, and 17. I will post all of those with on my Instagram account at Healing Twin Flames, so you can have access to all of those details. And really, Goddess, the summary of today's message is that in order to really truly be shifting into that thriving space to where you are thankful is number one, be grateful, express gratitude for the reality that you are creating, that you are aligning with. That is exactly where your power lies, is embracing the change, allowing for the change, recognizing that right now is a time of intense, immense change. And that in envisioning this reality, all things are possible. So do not let your very limited, fear-based ego tell you that something cannot be. Just because right now in this moment, it appears as though it can't. Right now is temporary. Right now will pass. We are in, again, this time of great, incredible change. Let go of what is not in alignment with this new reality. You want to be in prosperity? Let go of lack. Let go of being broke. Stop saying you're broke. You want to be in harmonious union, physical union with your twin? Start talking that you are. And at the very least, stop talking that you're not. Stop feeding the space of separation. All right? If you cannot fully shift into what you're creating, at least stop feeding what you are perpetuating, so you can allow for something better to be created. Because your higher self knows, okay? It's in your vortex. You know this is what you don't want, so stop fucking talking about what you don't want. And allow for what you do want to expand into your experience. That said, dear Goddess, thank you so much for following along in this empowerment message for today. I know it was kind of, I'm speaking on a little bit more things than what I had kind of not said a whole lot before. It's simply because one, censorship is out of control. Number two, it's been fear of judgment. But it's like, if you've seen everything I've seen, you see all the dots connect. And plus, not just what I've seen this last year and a half, but what my journey has been. I believe very much what I've seen. Very much. Because I've seen it with my own eyes and experienced it myself. And I know what it is to be completely powerless, and having given my power away to everybody and their dog, seems, to then take that shit back more and more and more, bit by bit by bit by bit, to where I am able to clearly recognize when I am giving my power away to something versus when I am calling that back, and even more so when others are giving their power away to something outside of themselves, rather than being in their power and taking responsibility for themselves and their state of being. It's pretty mind-boggling. I am gonna actually publish a little video yesterday. I was at the grocery store, and there was a cake, because I love baked goods. But there was a cake. And oh wow, just now I was checking the time and it's 4:44 on the 17th. Holy moly. But there was this cake and it was marked all the way down from $10 to $3.50. And I stood there for at least 5 minutes contemplating it. And I'm like, Rochelle, you don't need a whole cake. You do not need to eat a whole cake. You're not going to be happy about this if you buy this whole cake. But then where my ego started to go is in that fear space, right? Is to say, but wait a minute. I can eat cake, I can eat fast food, I can, be lazy, not work out, not take care of my health, and even more so, inject poison into my body, and then I get to blame the healthy people if I get sick. I just wanted to be clear that that's the game we're playing right now. Because I don't understand how that's acceptable. It doesn't make sense. I take responsibility for me and myself and you take responsibility for you. But it's all about giving power away so that we can be able to really see that we have been giving our power away, and in turn, what it is to take that fucking power back. Not just individually, but collectively. This is why we are here. And a warrior am I. I didn't go through fucking hell to give up now. And if it is time for you to reclaim power in certain areas of your life and you're not quite sure where to begin, what it looks like for you, what tools, what resources, what practices, what techniques, I got you. I do so many one-on-one sessions each month, 30-minute or 75-minute. They come with different amenities, shall we say. So be sure to check them out at empowermentexperiences.com. You can also just go straight to my booking site, which is iamempowered.as.me. And I will put both of those links down below so you can check them out. You are the catalyst, goddess. You are the one that's creating your reality. You are the one with the power. And that power, it is in your hands. I assure you. I know, because it has always been inside you. Namaste.